You can definitely feel the power compared to F3, and also the turbo as well. You can definitely feel when that kicks in. You can also feel the weight of the car. It's obviously quite a bit heavier than the F3 car. And also the sort of difference of going between the 13-inch and the 18-inch rims. I could tell sort of immediately the effect that it had on the car, which has made it is a very difficult car to drive. I think because of the weight and also the 18-inch rims, it makes the car very unforgiving. So yeah, I think it's a tough car to drive. It's pretty fun to drive as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think our 2021 preparations are looking good. I spent a good amount of time over Christmas and New Year's in Australia with my family, so it was good to see them again and enjoy some warm weather and a majorly COVID-free environment. So yeah, nice time to relax. Obviously back into the swing of things now and getting ready, preparing with the team, doing all the simulator training and physical training as well. We've had a good training camp with Alpine as well in Tenerife, which was good. And yeah, I'm feeling very well prepared. I think having 3 races in a weekend is going to be a bit more hectic than we're used to, particularly for the teams. Obviously, it's one more session added into the weekend, and it's going to make our Saturdays particularly busy with the 2 races. So it's going to put quite a bit of stress on the mechanics and engineers and stuff, going from race 1 to race 2. And then even for the drivers, you know, we have to recover well enough between the first 2 races as well. So I think in terms of the format and the way the reverse grid works and stuff like that, I think as a driver, if you're qualifying up the front, surviving race 1 is going to be your main goal, so you can stay in the reverse grid for race 2, and then obviously try and get some good points in at least race 2 and then race 3, where hopefully you've qualified well. But yeah, looking forward to it. I think it'll be very exciting for all the fans to watch. Even more F2 track time. So yeah, what's not to like about that? I think pit stops are a cool thing to learn. Obviously, they're a big part of F1. So you know, naturally, I'm trying to get to F1, so I've got to do pit stops at some point. But yeah, I think you can win or lose a lot of time in the pit stops. I think it's something that as a driver and a team that we have to focus on a lot. And it's sort of the only direct team influence during a race in junior single seaters. Obviously they're setting up the car, but you know the team can only tell you stuff on the radio normally. So I think it's a good way to incorporate the team into the races. Obviously, it's just a feature race, but yeah, it really sort of brings the team together and also creates a cool atmosphere, I guess, for the fans and as well. Sort of bringing in a mini F1 race, if you will, with including the pit stop. I think I'll approach F2 quite similar to what I did F3, and you know, even in F3 I was making sure I was learning first and foremost, and then the success was sort of just a side point to that, a very nice side point. But you know, I think making sure I learned as much as I could, as quickly as I could, put me in good stead for the beginning of the year. Obviously F2, there's a few more variables to learn. I've got to learn pit stops, compound changes, managing the tyres, a lot more. So yeah, there's still a lot of learning to do, but in terms of expectations and stuff like that, I'm going into it pretty open-minded, which is what I did for F3. I didn't have too many expectations. Obviously this year I'd like to be challenging Robert. I think you know, your teammates always your first and best measure of how you're doing. So hopefully I can beat him more often than not. My goals for 2021, very good question. I don't really have any sort of concrete things I want to achieve. Obviously, I want to be fighting for race wins and hopefully the championship. Obviously, fighting for the title in your rookie years, no easy feat, so it's going to be tough. But I said the same about F3. So we'll see how that goes. Obviously, yeah, want to be pushing for race wins. Would like to be pushing for pole positions as well. It's something that I'd like to get that I didn't get last year as well. So, and yeah, obviously we've got to see how competitive we are as a team. If we've got the capability to be winning every race, then I want to be trying to win every race. If we've got the capability to be finishing P5 or P6, hopefully we don't. Hopefully we've got the capability to win. But if that's all we've got on the day, then I want to be trying to maximise the most out of the car. So yeah, I think it's quite a situation and how the team's going dependent. So yeah, being in the Alpine Academy is really good. Started my second year with everyone there. Obviously, was previously the Renault Sport Academy, but yeah, it's been really good so far. Obviously, they gave me my first F1 test, so it's been a good relationship. Yeah, I think obviously being my second year now and stepping up to F2, sort of the level of involvement in the F1 team and the academy for that matter, with the engineers and stuff like that from the F1 team has increased, especially after the F1 test as well. Obviously there's a bit more for me to dive into as well. We had our training camp in Tenerife this year and we didn't get stuck locked down in Tenerife, so that was a good start. And yeah, their support's been really good so far. And they were very helpful in the F2 test in Bahrain last year as well. So I've got not just Prema to fall back on in terms of looking through data and information. I've also got Alpine Academy and the F1 team for that matter in my corner as well.